Perfect. Okay, thanks everyone for coming out tonight. We're Team Facebook, and we're here to present our Insta-Tag and Insta-Ad roadmap. I want to kick things off with a quote from Mark Zuckerberg to reinforce why we're setting out to introduce Insta-Ad to the world. So as Mark Zuckerberg said, big company goals, we're out to connect everyone, understand the world, and build the next generation of platforms. And these goals are important to us because I believe it's the foundation for the strategy of the next decade. So we as we met last time, you remember we were brought to us by our research and development team a system called DeepFace, which allows us to automatically recognize faces of people within their photos. So that was brought to the product team, and we presented last time a method to introduce that functionality within Instagram. So we really believe that that's the first step in laying that foundation again for maybe the next decade. And as we presented last time as well, we think Insta-Ad and Insta-Tag is the first step in a long-term vision of Internet of Things, using your face, interacting with digital advertisements, maybe using it to unlock your face, unlock your devices in your home using your face. So since we last met, we really searched out a way to understand the problems of our users that use Instagram. And we were focused on young Generation Z power users within Instagram that are currently actually unhappy with the experience in Instagram because we've introduced ads, but they really see Instagram as a very personal, curated ecosystem. They think it's where people go to just be more artsy. So ads kind of created an unpersonalized experience to them. So we wanted to try and enhance that problem. Okay, and then again, since last time we met, we did hear the feedback from the team about the way we were leveraging the technology, but since then we've been able to get out in front of the actual demographic that we're targeting, who is this younger, Instagram user who's really following trends, and they're sharing photos amongst their Instagram users. So when we got out in front of them and did some interviews, we actually got some positive feedback, and in our prototypes that I'm going to show in a minute, and we really confirmed some of our ideas from last time we met. So kind of the slide here just pointing out, keep calm and carry on. We're really trying to move forward with the same idea of using Insta-Ad. One of the primary things that we've also changed, though, was originally we kind of thought these are two different product ideas, Insta-Tag and Insta-Ad, and we're really kind of focusing on Insta-Tag being a feature that'll enhance Insta-Ad. So as you'll see here, these are the prototypes that we used during our customer interviews. So again, this focus is more of a feature right now, but Insta-Tag. So when a user uploads a photo to Instagram, they see this view, and this will be an Insta-Tag button here that's automatically presented to the user. If they wanted to go in there and edit, they could get into a screen like this. So you'll see that these are already pre-populated. So we walked our the interviews that we did, we walked them through this, and we said, this is how it would present to you if you wanted to go in and edit. So the user could come in, quickly delete, remove all the tags, or just accept it the way it is. And then this would be an example of seeing the Insta-tagged photos in your stream. This is kind of unique because right now there's not a lot of photos that are tagged automatic or in Instagram. It's kind of cumbersome because you have to individually click on each face and tag them. Okay, but to the primary product that we're trying to deliver. So we're really we put in front of our users this idea of having Insta-Ads. So it's showing your face within ads. So this would be me sitting there looking through my Instagram stream, and I would see this ad presented by like the NFL, and it would have my face inside this ad. One of the questions that we set out to ask our users were, would they be willing to share these ads? Like we wanted to kind of still create that, willingness to like just share something that's neat or interesting to your users. So we asked them, if you would be willing to share, and then we showed an option of, clicking a button, getting a list, and maybe choosing to share them. So this is kind of the flow that we just walked them through. Question?
Have you ever shared an ad?
Have I shared an ad? Yes, but because I have some friends that run a company.
So you shared it because you want to help them out, not because you actually like the ad.
Yeah, or there's been times with like friends that have had are part of a marathon. And there's like something, an event or something.
I've shared multiple ads, like if I find it has a good message, or if some of my friends would like for something like that, or if I know one of my friends likes that product. And this is on Facebook, and I've shared that, I've posted it to my timeline.
Yeah, so when we get deeper into the customer feedback, that's one of the things that we thought was really surprising. Once we got to that demographic that we were targeting, they do follow brands, they actually are kind of advocates for the brand, maybe more than I am myself. Unlike Sarah, who does share. Yeah. Okay, so actually it's a good time because we are going to jump into that feedback. So Omar's going to cover more of the details from our customer interviews.
So first of all, back to your question, we believe that Insta-Ad will change the ad experience of users. So it's a new ad experience. It's not just a regular ad that you see for a certain company. It's an ad that you see yourself in it, so maybe it's more interesting, or you want to share this with your followers or family or friends. So it's something different than the ads that we see as of today. So let's start with some of the facts that we got from the user feedback. So I don't think any of this class would imagine that people, like the 17-year-old Instagram user, she believes that seeing her face in an ad is totally normal, but she doesn't want to see her last name in an ad. Because her last name is something private, but her face is something public. And it's okay to see it in an ad. I think most of us over here believe the opposite, that something, security issues or concerns or whatever. This generation, they don't think of it this way. Another user, he said that the Instagram tagging process is the worst. So this is why we're coming up with the Insta tag feature to make this a better experience for the users. And one other person said it's cool to see how it would look like on me without guessing. So he wants to see stuff on him rather than just seeing a certain brand on his street that's maybe it's irrelevant or something. More in the user feedback. So the common like that we also found that people are liking the fact of automatic tagging and they don't have to put in all the names. They dislike the fact, again, they dislike the current tagging process. They dislike the current ads as they see them a little bit irrelevant to them. And some of them, they had questions about what if auto tagging doesn't work? So this is the most common question mark that people said, is it really accurate? Like, will I be able to see 7 people in the picture and 7 people correctly tagged? So this was asked a lot by people. And some of them, this was mostly from people in the other generation, like in the 25 plus, that says, who can see my face in ads? So it depends on the age group again. As we go down to teenagers, up to 19, they usually think that they don't come up with any security questions. If we go from 21 above, some of them start getting into asking questions about who will see this, how will I control this, so on and so forth. Some of the needs, again, so people are looking for a better ad experience. This is one of the main needs that we found out. And they want to be able to share this across social media. So when they saw the concept of Insta-Ad, they want to say, okay, so it's really good on Instagram, so am I able to share this also on Twitter or Facebook or any of the other social media? And for the insights, again, this is really one of the most interesting insights, that privacy is not a high concern. This is completely opposite to our expectations. We thought that privacy will be the main concern, but when we interviewed, again, the main Instagram user, which is teenagers, they never came up with any kind of privacy questions, which is really interesting. And also the ability to share is something really crucial, and the ads with familiar faces is more captivating. Like some of them said, it's really good to see myself or see my friends in ads. So at the beginning, Insta-Ad will be launched only for yourself, like you'll see yourself in an ad, and then maybe later on we have other plans to have ads with different people in the same picture. But when people feel comfortable first with the concept of Insta-Ad. Our roadmap is, so basically...
I've got a question,
Sure.
and not having the context of the initial pitch. it feels to me that it might limit the type of ads that can be shown if you need to also show that user's face. I mean, you show apparel, which is an obvious category. Have you thought through all the categories of potential advertisers and how those mix with the current set of mobile advertisers that are out there?
So last time in the previous presentation, we had a concept of, it was home insurance or something, car insurance, where we have a person sitting in a car and it's a car insurance. So if you can just fit any person in any ad, so think of clothing, insurance, or restaurants, or anything that you can fit a person in it, then yes, it can fit with Insta ad.
Right.
So I see most of the sectors you can fit a person in the picture, in the ad itself, and then with any sort of background, but you still have a certain face in the picture.
The idea that all the ads, like all the ad inventory would rely on this, or you would still have ads that would have models or professionally rendered images and things like that?
Well, we will still offer both options for advertisers, so they can go with just a regular ad or the Insta ad. So just as the beginning, we will start with having both. Like we have the regular one right now, and we have the Insta ad too. And we're planning that later on, if we can have only Insta ad, this is fine. But again, this will depend on the feedback that we get from the advertisers. Is this the thing that they will always want to get, or sometimes they just want a regular ad for a picture of the desert or something, or sea, and just something very basic.
So did you do any user research with your advertiser sort of customer?
For this phase, we work mostly with the users, getting user feedback.
End users.
End users.
From your prior research, do you have a sense for what the advertisers are going to care about?
So we're thinking of this more of an Instagram thing, that we want to deliver value to the customers. So again, if we can change the message of ads, right now ads on Instagram, you just skip the ad in just seconds, maybe 0.5 seconds or maybe 1 second or less, you just skip it. So if we can change the customer experience, if we can change the ad experience and making ads something appealing and something people want to take a look at and something people want to share, this will increase the user engagement. And if we increase user engagement with ads, this will make the advertisers more happy because their ads are actually being seen. It's not just click through.
And in our backlog, we do have user stories that are more directed towards our advertisers' needs, metrics that they want to captivate. Kind of once we release after each phase, where we're at, what type of ads they're clicking, what's more prevalent than others. So we do have user stories to develop those types of features for our advertisers.
Okay, so the roadmap, as we discussed previously, we had in the previous backlog and the previous roadmap, we had a vision of a single team working on the whole project. And then when it was discussed, it was said that we have to have 2 different teams, and one of them is more focusing on the R&D, the algo team, and one of them is more focusing on the product team. So the product team will launch Q2 in 2015, will launch the Insta Tag feature. This will help us collect more data by auto-tagging and displaying the auto-tags. And after that, also in Q2, we will launch the Insta Ad. So Insta Ad, the Insta Ad 1.0 it will be just basically viewing the ads. So you can only view the ads. You're not able to share anything, just viewing. And there will also be a release for the update of Insta Tag. Moving forward, we will launch an update for the Insta Ad. This will include the sharing experience only on Instagram, and the ability to opt in and like and dislike ads. So we want people to be able to like a brand or like a certain vertical that they want to see more ads of this, or just opt out of this and see whatever is relevant to the user. We want to make the ad, again, a better experience for the user. And also in this launch, there will be the Navigate to Advertiser website. So right now on Instagram, you can't click somewhere and go to the website unless you open the profile of the advertiser. So we will come up with a button that will link the people from the ad itself to the advertiser website. Finally, in Q3 2015, there will be...
Real quick, where is your MVP in this roadmap?
So basically, we will start with the Insta Tag feature to collect more data.
So your MVP is just collecting data?
And then launching an Insta Ad without all the features, just the Insta Ad, just viewing the ad itself.
So I think all I'm confusion is that you technically have 2 products, right? You have the Insta Tag, which is jumpstart your ad network, and then you have the ad experience in and of itself, which is being launched on the back. I think the feedback I'm sort of reading between the lines here, Colin, is that you have two products, you should present them as, I understand why you've done it this way, but I think from his perspective, that's kind of why you get that pushback.
Okay.
Is that fair?
No, I think that's fair. The other point I want to point out was the concept of the MVP really tries to prove the concept, really tries to get some true, let's say, metrics and data, hard data behind the concept itself. If you have two products, Insta-Tag and Insta-Ad, you would want to try out both upfront and in a minimalistic fashion. So I see that you're obviously collecting data first. What I don't see is you proving out the Insta-Tag, say, well, are the users really liking it?
Exactly.
How
So
are
we
you
have,
actually measuring that the users are actually liking the fact that the ads are now personalized, the fashion is presented there?
so we just decided to highlight the main features, but if we go to our backlog, we have metrics to show the user engagement, to know how many people actually Insta-tagged, how many people edited the Insta-tag and or the Insta-tag, and how many people deleted the Insta-tag. So we have a lot of metrics. It's all in the backlog, but we don't want to put it on the slide so it's not too crowded or
So then
something.
just drill a little bit there. So if you're looking at Q2, so your first major set of work where you have the auto tagging buttons, and so users can essentially feed into your inventory of tagged photos and using this technology. What's the outcome that you're looking to prove that you can drive when it comes to auto tagging?
So one of the metrics we have, we want to see the increase of the number of tags per image uploaded on Instagram.
Got it.
So if right now we have X, we want to see if using this feature will increase it to 1.5x or 2x, measure this, and see how this will affect the amount of tag images.
Got it.
I'm having a really hard time understanding how these are the same product.
So they're not the same product. So, okay, last time we had them two completely different products, but what we came up with that we thought that Insta-Tag is not a real product. It could be just a new feature on Instagram that will feed Insta-Ad. So it's just considered an extra feature.
But help me understand that connection even better, because you're saying you're collecting all this data and that will be valuable for Insta-Ad, and I don't understand that.
So, Deepface is the facial recognition technology that Facebook has, and the way it works is the more photos Deepface gets, the better it understands this person's picture, this person's face. So the more tags we have, the more recognizable this face is going to be, therefore the better ads we present to the user.
So you want more photos of the actual end consumer, so more selfies, more photos with them in. Is that the best way to get those photos?
Right now, majority of the Instagram photos are selfies. What we're missing really is the tags to say that this picture is of this user, and that's the gap that we're trying to fill.
Can you crowdsource it? So like you put images on Mechanical Turk, you have an image you know is a particular person, and then you pay people cents to say this image is this area of the same person. So you don't have to rely on your Insta tag to feed your data.
So we do have a base understanding of faces and users. I mean, we have a working system today. We just want to improve it. So we could take an approach of adding in, crowdsourcing plus our current technology plus our R&D team. So that's the other piece. I think there was a question on what are we going to be doing with the data, and a lot of this. The swim lane with the research and development team is to try and feed back findings from getting this out in the wild and trying to use those data points to improve the system as a whole.
So
With our R&D.
But your roadmap is user-centric, not back-end-centric. So what you're talking about is a very different ad platform using very different technologies. Things have to come together to upload and allow people to generate their ads, serve their ads, target their ads. All of that is missing from what I see overwrite your roadmap. So you thought through the customer experience well, which is fine, but to enable this type of platform, which is very different than the other ad serving platform today, there's going to have to be significant work on the back end to support that.
All right, let's make our closing points in the final round of Q&A.
Okay, so basically this is actually the last slide we have. So this is the product team, and that's for the R&D team. They'll be working on enhancing Deepface, and then a feature will to Insta-Ad image recommendation features, a feature that will allow Insta-Ad to pick the best image for the certain ad. And then Insta-tag algorithm improvements. All of these are based on the feedback, or the data that we collect from Insta-tag. And then we have custom ads and face ads. So custom ads is basically it's another product or another feature in this product in Insta-ad. You get to pick, a user gets to pick like a certain vertical, and he gets 3 brands, 3 advertisers in this vertical, and he can put his face in any of these ads and share it.
So I have you obviously have 2 screens over here based on the response from Mark, right? One of them is an R&D team. They're made up of scientists, right? They generally don't follow that timeline.
This is not following, so these are not together, like this is not to scale.
So
This
it's
one
not
down
to
there is
scale.
not to
How
scale.
do you integrate the output from there into your releases?
So whatever output we get from this one, it feeds the R&D team. But these releases are interdependent. Like this is none of these is depending on any of these features down there. Because right now deep face is there and the technology is there. So the only thing we want is to improve this technology. So we'll improve it using Insta-tag. So these are not, none of these is related to the R&D team.
So the R&D team, in that regard, could be somewhat rudderless in that they don't have specific use cases that they are developing toward, right? One of the hazards of an R&D team is that they kind of go off and will just start exploring academia for a while and not actually have things that you can ship. So I do think it is important to earmark certain things that maybe are not you could ship a version of, but would not be to the level of expectations that you want, so that you put some specific deliverables on the R&D team. Does that make sense?
So give them some structure, you don't have to micromanage them, but give them some guardrails so they don't go off and explore bits.
So typically with R&D teams, specifically with data science and algorithm teams, you generally give them accuracy targets. So you tell them, I would like you to be 70% accurate. And if they can meet that target in a certain time frame, that's good. Otherwise, you keep improving on the target, saying, okay, now I'll be 80% accurate, I'll be 90% accurate.
So would it be
Generally
like
put
setting
those
up?
kind of targets on the team, saying, if you can give me something 60% accurate, we will go back. But you've got to give me something about this type.
Instead of them working to perfect everything.
Instead of them
Okay.
keeping,
Makes sense.
working on trying to improve the product.
I was just gonna say that set up checkpoints with them to see where they're at and I guess drive to-dos from that checkpoint on.
So we're all done.
All right, final questions, and I'll open it up to the class first.
Did you guys do any, well, I mean, I guess you don't have enough time, but think through long-range implications of, 19-year-olds think it's great to do ads of themselves for the first 2 weeks, but after 3 or 4 months of seeing ads of yourself, like the long-range implications of seeing your ads of yourself a lot? Or is it just all they'll just turn off that feature when they get bored of it? Or I'm just curious on the short range versus long range.
Well, it's typically this age demographic, they're gonna switch to different products. So what we need to focus on is keeping on top of what they're really into in the next 2 weeks. So we put their face in that ad versus them seeing the same product or the same brand for months on end.
Are there any brands that you would not let them put their face in? Like, because I'm gonna say this, it's gonna be really embarrassing when my face shows up in a Viagra ad. I'm just saying,
Match.com.
Or it could be really.
That's one of my cases for Match.com. But I'm actually serious. Like there are some stuff which you would buy, but you want to buy very privately. And yeah, someone selling it to me like that might be, whoa, I don't know.
But one of the things is, this ad, you only get to see it at the beginning. So it's not something public. It's like it's not on your profile, anybody can see. So it's only you who can see it at the beginning. If you really like it, you will share it. If you don't like it, you can just dislike it so you don't get any of these ads again. So it's not going to go anywhere. You will see it first, and if you really like it, just go ahead and share it. If not, dislike the ad so you don't get like similar ads again.
Well, I think we could also stick to a certain market sector, like the top, this user, what do they click on within Instagram? Who do they subscribe to? Which brand of alcohol? I mean, in Instagram you could follow Grey Goose, so we drive off of that and not necessarily something controversial.
I think we'd also follow some of the guidelines Instagram already has today about inappropriate photos. So there's, I think, some alignment there with the advertisers' views. That might help filter out a few of the oddities.
All right.
Any
Judges,
other
final comments?
questions?
How about likes and wishes?
So, well, I had one, which is, I think what's most exciting about this concept is the sharing aspect. And I felt like that component, it wasn't clear to me that you had quantified that opportunity in a way that would have put it in the right place on the roadmap and or given it enough of a chance to show the viral factor early on, that sort of MVP, so that you can test what your viral quotient will be. Because that could be a whole different set of features and functionality you need, not the least of which is like, how do you measure, right? How do I measure impressions on Twitter if I'm Facebook and that's not my platform, right? Because that's really, really important from an advertiser perspective. So I would just kind of point that one out, is that you said in your user interviews that sharing was really important, but then I saw it sort of quite far out on the roadmap, which in my mind was a bit of a disappointment from that perspective.
I'll pile onto that one. I would have loved to hear more of your insight on what you think is going to accelerate sharing, and like what's the theory, like why would somebody share? The judges were talking a little bit before you started your presentation about how we noticed that someone on YouTube has a channel where they get 4.5 million hits to open like
Kinder
Kinder surprise eggs, like just the kinds of things that generate that kind of celebrity, if you can call it that, lowercase c celebrity on social media. Are you thinking of tapping into that, or is that not it? Is it sharing with friends and family? You know, those kinds of things. So I think if you were to refine it and pitch again, I would keep that in mind and really articulate that over the span of your roadmap, so you're understanding like what it is, like what's your growth hack theory here, and how are you testing it through each of these sets of milestones.
Well done.
Yeah.
All right.
I just have one question. Instagram had ads today.
Yeah.
I was looking at my phone. I'm like, I don't see an ad in my screen at all.
They're not very common,
Yeah.
but they're there. I got my first one yesterday.
They just
And when you get it, it's only one per session. So if you see one, you won't see another one. It's just one.
All right, very good. So, Jay. All right, so I've taken the liberty of swapping one of these. So I said MVP and then curveball and kind of agility on this one. This might be a little new for the judges, but we did something in class called the Fist of Five. So it's kind of a quick way of voting using your fingers. So like 5 is best presentation of the night, all the way down to a 1, which is, you know, what am I doing here? No, I'm just teasing. So 1 is needed lots of improvement type thing. So I'm just going to go through these really quick. If you guys just want to flash your fingers, judges, don't feel like you need to participate. You can put your scores privately, unless you are really at all 5. And then I'll do a quick visual scan and just put kind of real-time feedback up as we go through this. Okay? So for the Facebook team, roadmap. Ready, you go. Trees, fours. Okay. All right. Looks like about 3.5. Okay. The curveball response. How agile is this team? Ready, go. This is not a
East side, west side.
Yeah, right. Okay, all right. So 3, pretty consistent. Okay, the MVP. 4s. Got a couple 2s. It's like 2 and a 4, so it's like either loved it or hated it. Okay, general presentation. Ready to go. Okay, that's very visual. 1, 2 in there, but I think it's mostly a 4. Okay, best dressed.
Gonna take a walk.
For this one, how about just one hand up if they were the best dressed of the whole night?
So far.
So far.
Yeah, wait a second.
Entire night, they're the best dressed. Okay, we got about 20% participation. Okay. All right, so up next is MakerBot.
Thanks.
So while they're getting set up, feel free to, if you're going to use your own laptop, I'll show you which button to press over there. We also have some more paper. If you want to grab, write your own feedback. Make sure you label the team name at the top. Write some feedback. And Brian, thank you, lovely Brian, just rolled in some pastries. It's kind of like the.
Also, signage sheets right here.